So let's take a look at the moves Washington has made so far, and I don't think they're done yet. So stay tuned. I think there's more to come. Let's take a look at it top to bottom. Just go through the deals real quick. So veteran quarterback Marcus Mariota on a 1-year, $6 million contract worth up to $10 million with incentives. Then we have running back, another veteran, Austin Eckler, signing a 2-year deal worth up to $11.43 million. Eckler receives a $3 million signing bonus and $4.82 million in year 1 of the contract. And then veteran Zach Ertz, who was really the first signing, that available free agent. Adding him back here, like I said, just kind of replacing Logan Thomas, having that veteran presence, reuniting with Cliff Kingsbury, a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. I mean, it's a veteran contract. What do you expect? And then guard Nick Allegretti signing a 3-year, $16 million deal. Tyler Biadasz signing a 3-year, $30 million contract. Edge or pass rusher Dorrance Armstrong signing a 3-year deal worth up to $45 million. And then adding another edge with some upside to him. Clelin Ferrell signing a 1-year, $3.75 million deal with $3.05 million guaranteed. Then we have Frankie Lavu, who's probably my favorite signing so far, to be honest with you. A 3-year, $36 million deal. And then adding yesterday, the all-pro veteran linebacker, Bobby Wagner, something I never thought would actually happen. We're here. Adding Bobby Wagner on a 1-year deal worth up to $8.5 million with $6 million in guarantees. Safety Jeremy Chin on a 1-year, $4.105 million deal with $3.495 guaranteed. And then special teams. Let's show some love to the special teams, guys. Brandon McManus, another veteran with a big leg, signing a 1-year, $3.6 million contract. And a long snapper, Tyler Ott. We got some long snapper news. This is what we've been looking forward to. This is a top of priority for us going into the offseason. Like I said, Tyler Ott on a 3-year deal, reuniting with a familiar face. So let's get to some grades. What's going on? We got some people in the chat. Skin for Life says, what's up, men? B-Dap says, yo, Dougalicious, always appreciate you stopping by. What's going on, Steve? Hope you're doing good, man. Like I said, this has been an exciting free agency period. Where's the left tackle coming from? I don't think we're done yet. I think Tyron Smith is still out there, and I think Josh Jones is the name I'm looking for to happen. Another one of those younger ascending guys who's ready for a role. You've probably heard me say that a million times so far this offseason. Just looking for younger guys who are ready to take on more with some starting upside to them. And it's good deals. So let's get to it. I'm not going to hold y'all up. Let's get to my grades. I made some graphics for y'all. You know me, like I said, if you follow me on X, you see I've been putting out these graphics so far. Don't do much sleeping during free agency. Let's get to some grades. Let's start with... First off, because I didn't make a graphic for these two, Brandon McManus and Tyler Ott, like I said, special teams guys, I'm giving that an A. First off, I know Brandon McManus has had some misses, but when it comes to like the long ones, the 50+, the dude's on. He's got a strong leg. Joey Sly had a couple missed extra points that kind of killed him. He was a free agent already, so people were like, oh, we're going to have some competition. Like, no, Joey Sly's a free agent. He's got to find a team. And then Tyler Ott, like I said, it's sad that, long snapper was one of the worst parts of the team last year, but it was. And it was a position that was ignored. Like, it was bad in training camp. And like, oh, let's just wait the whole season and see how it goes. And then, of course, like, we finally actually addressed a need. Not even just, linebacker, offensive line and stuff. Something like the small details of long snapper, we addressed it. So that's good. And then also Zach Ertz, like I said, veteran guy, filling in the hole for Logan Thomas. I give that like a B-. I don't expect him to be some 10 touchdown, 1,000-yard tight end. Give me 500, 600 maybe yards. I'm getting a little greedy and like 5-6 touchdowns, and I'm happy. I still think we draft a tight end, but those are the guys I didn't make graphics for, just small little additions here. Let's start with here. Let's go with veterans on the offense, because this has been kind of a hot topic for some people. So I'm giving Marcus Mariota a B-, and this is why. First off, we didn't sign Marcus Mariota because he's going to start or because of his skill set and his talent or how he plays. People said, oh, this means we're going to draft so-and-so. No, it doesn't. We signed Marcus Mariota because we missed out on Sam Darnold. We were interested in Sam Darnold the night before. He goes to Minnesota. Washington keeps it moving. Brian Johnson said, hey, if you ask me, I'm the new passing game coordinator. I would love Marcus Mariota. As you can see in the picture, he was with the Eagles last year. He knows the offense. Obviously, Cliff Kingsbury and Brian Johnson and even Anthony Lynn, who I'm going to talk about here in a second, the running game coordinator, are going to be getting together and, molding this offense. Why not have a veteran guy like Marcus Mariota, who has been in a lot of different offenses in his career, come here and help iron those wrinkles out of learning a new offense for whoever we're going to draft at pick number 2. Whether it's Drake May or Jaden Daniels, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. You don't sign Marcus Mariota saying like, oh, they're going to get so-and-so. Like, look at Anthony Richardson when they had Gardner Minshew. Like, look at C.J. Stroud. Like, who you draft has nothing to do with your backup, first off. So I just had to address that. But I don't mind it. Having a good backup in this league is very important, as you can tell, which is why I think that there's a trade market for Sam Howell. You've seen guys like Mike Garafolo say it on NFL Network that you're probably going to hear some Sam Howell trade news, from now to even the end of the draft. It just depends on how things fall and how things actually go. But you signed him to a pretty substantial, contract. That's backup money. 1 year, $6 million contract worth up to $10 million with incentives, depending on how he plays and if he has to come in and start games, whatever. But that's not quarterback 3 money. That's quarterback 2 money. So I'm giving it a B-. Yes, I would like for him to be a little bit better. I've just seen some bad Marcus Mariota over the last few years, but I'm still optimistic because I know he's not coming here to play. He's coming here to help the rookie quarterback get going on the offense. And then I'm going to go to Austin Eckler. Obviously, this isn't the same Austin Eckler we saw like 3-4 years ago, but I think Austin Eckler still has a lot in the tank. I love Austin Eckler's mindset. I love, a guy who didn't have any D1 offers, didn't have any D2 offers. He became one of the most electrifying running backs, no pun intended with the lightning bolt from the Chargers, but he became one of the most electrifying running backs in the receiving game and also in the running game, just especially if you play fantasy football. This guy is a menace when it comes to production, when it comes to yards, and especially scoring touchdowns. Austin Eckler is that guy. And it's been a very known topic that league-wide teams are not a fan of this draft class at all. So when it comes down to it, if you had to tell me, like, his first year of his contract, pretty much a 1 year, a $5 million contract. That's great. That's phenomenal. Would you rather spend a draft capital, one of your draft picks, on a running back who's going to be, running back 2? And I wasn't against it. I like Bucky Irvin. I like Trey Benson. I like Marshawn Lloyd, Ray Davis. There's some running backs I do like in this draft class, but how high were you willing to take them? But then also, would you rather spend $5 million when you have the most money in free agency on a veteran running back like Austin Eckler, who knows Anthony Lynn, the running game coordinator, who knows how to use Austin Eckler to help get things going? Like $5 million or draft capital. I'm spending $5 million every day on Austin Eckler. You see this carousel of running backs around the league going somewhere else. I'm happy with Eckler on the contract we got. If it would have been something completely different, I would have been like, maybe not. But like I said, the production hasn't always been there for him. He played only 14 games in 2023, so he missed a couple. Had 628 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 436 receiving yards. So you're going to have Brian Robinson just kind of pounding defenses, wearing them out, that physical running style. Then you're going to have Austin Eckler. He's not like a home run guy like a, Keaton Mitchell or Devon Achane, anything like that. But he's more of like that elusive, like short, stocky, muscly guy who has these great cuts. He just makes people miss. He's more of like an elusive guy. And I still think, you're going to have like, I think Chris Rodriguez is still going to have a, spot on this team in a role on the offense. But I like the veteran moves. Like, don't be mad at that. D. Wilder said it. Not mad at that. Zarger says, short-term player contract shows me they will be replacing them with draft picks down the road. How do you get picks? Trading the 2, roll with Sam. In my opinion, there's no way they're rolling with Sam. I'm like 95% sure there's no way they are actually going to be rolling with Sam next offseason. But a lot of these contracts, and I'm going to keep it moving with some of these and talk about some of the contracts and how it really works. But talk about, guys we had to replace. Obviously, you trade Montez Sweat. You trade Chase Young. You had 3 free agent edge rushers. You bring in former first-round draft pick Clelin Ferrell, former first-round draft pick Dante Fowler, guys who were rotational guys with high motors and had a lot of production. Farrell's only 26 years old still, which is wild. He had 4 sacks, 17 hurries, 9 hits, 30 pressures, and only 294 pass rushing snaps and 176 runs snaps last year. Fowler is 29 years old, so he's more of a veteran, but still another one of these high motor guys reuniting with Dan Quinn. Clelin Ferrell was with the 49ers. Adam Peters brings him over, but Fowler had 5 sacks, 29 hurries, 36 pressures on only 202 pass rushing snaps last year. So I'm giving it a B. Like, we knew we had to replace, James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill. F.A. Obata was a free agent. And I think it's just going to be a pass rush, get to the quarterback by committee when you look at these edge rushers, and still got the most important one to talk about. But these are guys who can rotate in, high upside, just high talent guys. But Adam Peters, Dan Quinn said, let's go hand select our guys. Let's not re-sign these 3 free agents we have that, we don't really want. Let's go hand pick our guys that we're familiar with that we think could fit what we want to look for. Like, you remember that Joe Witt press conference when he's like, we're going to be physical. We're going to be dominant. We're going to hit you hard. Teams are going to hate playing against us. That really just matches what you get out of these 2 guys. Now let's go to the offensive line. One of the biggest needs, obviously, for Washington. I'm giving Nick Allegretti a B-, and I'm giving Tyler Biadasz an A, and here's why. Nick Allegretti, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about him. I see some Chiefs fans talking about him, obviously playing through that injury in the Super Bowl. Love it. It sounds like he is going to be the starting left guard. So I just don't know what that upside looks like for him as a starter in this league at left guard at a position that has been so bad for a while now. I don't know what that looks like. Like, do we still draft a left guard? I don't know. If there's like a Cooper Beebe there, you're telling me we're not taking him. But I just don't know what to expect out of him. He's the question mark in this signing for me. I need to watch some more tape on him. I'm going to go rewatch the Super Bowl and see, what he's doing technique-wise, what his footwork looks like, how good is his anchors, his hands, all that good stuff. But right now, I just don't know enough about him to be like, oh, this is a great signing, blah, 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 blah. But there's a video where he went on Good Morning Football, and he's like, guys, I want to go somewhere where I know I'm the starter. And I mean, a 3-year, $16 million deal. It's not like breaking the bank, but it's like, hey, this guy could potentially be the starter, and he's going to be super cheap. He has that upside. Is it going to happen? I don't know. To be continued. But Tyler Biadasz, I love this signing. People are like, oh my God, another Cowboy. Who cares? First off, who cares? But this is another young dude who has the best ahead of him, and Dan Quinn knows what he's getting out of him. Like I said, I love that we actually address the center position. If you've been following me for a while now, I said I do not want to draft a center. Please do not put a rookie quarterback behind a rookie center, for the love of God. Please, I don't want to see it. Ronald still said, let's be happy, no more Mayo and Barton. And I want to talk about these linebackers because that makes me smile more than anything. Hugh33 says, and we still have Stromberg, who I think played well in his limited snaps. If Stromberg can stay healthy, I think he's one of those guys that can play left guard. He can play center. So I'm not like freaking out about it. But right now, I want to see what Nick Allegretti could be. Like, I just don't know what to expect out of him. And honestly, I don't know what to expect out of Stromberg. I was super high on Stromberg. He was my center 3 in that draft, which was a good center draft. Doug Alicia says, I think Nick versus Ricky could be interesting in training camp. Y'all know I'm always, 10 toes down at training camp. So I can't wait for that. I'll be, reporting on everything. I think there's going to be some interesting battles. I talk about those edge guys. Talk about the offensive line. I think there's some interesting moves. Then obviously we still have the draft, so you just don't know what's going to happen. But I'm excited. Like, we're bringing in competition. We're bringing in talent. We're bringing in younger guys who, once again, like I said, are ready for a bigger role, are ready for more responsibility. So let's see what we got. Like I said, with Tyler, I love it. We have a guy who, in my opinion, can become one of, a top 10, starting center in this league. And he showed it last year, especially in pass protection. He only allowed pressure on 4.8% of pass blocks, which was the 4th lowest among all centers in the NFL last year. That's great. I love it. You know what Washington did last year with our rotational door at center after we benched one of our key free agent signings? Washington allowed a 7.5%, which was the 6th highest in the league last year. In the league, that's crazy. Let's see. This is why having a real front office feels like. This is exactly what it feels like. I love it. I love these deals. Uncle Monk 23 says Lloyd Cushenberry at center I thought would have been a better signing at center. If I said many times and people are like, what? I said Lloyd Cushenberry was the most important signing I really wanted, but he got a big bag out there. Can't help where he went. Once again, I'm not mad at this. Tyler has great upside to him. I think he can definitely be on that level of one of the top centers in the league. I know that sounds crazy, but I love this guy's upside. I remember watching him, like even in college, I was like, yo, this guy's got some game to him. People are high on him. You're just doing some research and watching some things on him. People like him a lot. So I'm extremely optimistic. I know this sounds like a very optimistic stream. I'm being real with y'all. With Nick Allegretti, I don't know what to expect. And then Marcus Mariota, I'm not like super excited about it, but I get it. Like I understand it. But let's see what else we got here. So that's so far what we've done on the offensive line. Like I said, I don't think we're done yet. Like I said, follow me on social media at Josh Taylor FB. You see me talking about some left tackle options. You see me talking about a potential trade on defense. Throwing out some other nuggets for y'all there as well. But let's go back to the defense. And we really said going into free agency, most of the money would be spent on the defense, just reshaping everything. Not because of who's free agents and like what you have to replace, but just setting the blueprint and the foundation for your defense with Dan Quinn, with Joe Witt Jr., and just being like, guys, the guys we have here, this is not going to work. Let's get some ballers in here. So we go with Jeremy Chinn and Dorrance Armstrong. Now, I'm giving Jeremy Chinn a B+ on this one because I love what he brings and I love his fit with Dan Quinn. But he has to stay healthy. He's had some injuries the last 2 years. First 2 years, he came into the league on fire. Like, just played great in that Panthers defense. But once again, there was a lot of pressure, and it wasn't the most ideal situation for the Panthers defense when you're on the field a lot. And like I said, he has to stay healthy too, but he's still super young. So I'm excited to see what Dan Quinn can get out of him. And something I mentioned yesterday when I did a video on Bobby Wagner in that signing, people are saying, oh, you know, with Frankie Lavu, Bobby Wagner, Jamin Davis, I'm still a little bit concerned when it comes to coverage. I will say this. Remember what Dan Quinn did last year with a certain safety named Marquise Bell when he turned him into a linebacker, and he was a highly graded linebacker on PFF last year. Marquise Bell played really well at linebacker going from safety because of his, body style and size. Jeremy Chinn is 6'3", 220. That is a whole unit back there. Now, he could also be a Cam Curl replacement if things don't get done there, and it's not looking too good with him or Fuller, but things are still fluid. Things are still ongoing. But worst case, he could be a guy. I like him in coverage. I think he's great in coverage. Not worried about coverage at all. And it's because of the guy next to him who I gave an A, Dorrance Armstrong, getting after the quarterback. 26 years old. This was the one prediction I really homed on the last few weeks. Said, guys, Dorrance Armstrong is going to be the first signing for Washington. This guy is ready to be a starting edge rusher in a Dan Quinn defense here in Washington. 26 years old, had 9 sacks, 22 hurries, 3 hits, 34 total pressures on 280 pass rushing snaps and 156 run defensive snaps. And it's an incentive deal. Base is about $11 million per year and 22 guaranteed. That is a great contract. 3-year deal worth up to 45 total. That's a phenomenal deal. When you see the money that was being thrown around at guys like Danielle Hunter, Brian Burns making like $45 million next year. Holy smokes. I get it. Bryce Huff got paid. People are getting paid. But you're getting a high upside, younger, ascending player at such a great deal. And I have a couple thoughts just overall great at the end. I'm going to kind of just wrap it all together and put a bow on it for you. But these deals have this common theme to it. But I'm excited about these two. Dan Quinn loves to get after the quarterback with his front seven, stop the run, hit you hard in the trenches. You hate playing against him. And then he lets that back, whatever it is, depending on scheme, just feast. He's going to put pressure on the quarterback. Mistakes are going to be made. Guys like Jeremy Chin are going to be put in a position to succeed. Now, I think you're going to see some big dime packages. You're going to see some big nickel packages. You're going to see guys like Jeremy Chin in the box. You're going to see guys like Quan Martin in the box, to where it's not just the same look. And Joe Witt Jr. was asked during the press conference, hey, are you going to run a 3-4? Are you going to run a 4-3? He said, we're going to do everything. We're just going to play dominant defense. And that was music to my ears, because this league, not many teams play their base package anymore. You're going to see some 5-2. You're going to see some lineups where there's Dorrance Armstrong, Deron Payne, Sweat, Farrell, and, we could still draft somebody. I don't know. And then even Dante Fowler, to where, because I think Dorrance Armstrong can line up inside the tackle. I think he can line up over the guard, because he's extremely long arms. It's like 34.75 inches, if I remember correctly. Extremely long arms. And he's a big body guy. So I think you're going to see so much creative things in this defense. And I put these two guys together because I think these are two key guys in this defense. You have one guy really getting after the quarterback. Then you have guys like Jeremy Chin, who's flying all over the field, whether it's as safety, whether it's as like that. I don't want to say box safety role, because we get PTSD. We get like Landon Collins syndrome when I say something like that. But it's just a different look. You're going to see more of this hybrid player in Jeremy Chin. And maybe Dan Quinn says, look, if we lose Curl, we really want you at strong safeties where you can sit there and develop. I'm fine with that too. There's still a couple pieces that need to fall to really get a full idea of what this defense is going to look like. But these two guys are key. But I gave Chin a B+ because he needs to stay healthy. But if he does, it turns into like an A, because he's young. I really liked him coming out. This is a guy I've been wanting for a while now. It was the perfect fit. And talking about perfect fits, you have two linebackers who are here to really set the tone. That is All-Pro Bobby Wagner, and then one of the top unknown, really not heard of linebackers in the NFL, Frankie Lavu, who was PFF's #1 linebacker heading into free agency, by the way. And I agree with him. I love Frankie Lavu's game. I think he's better in coverage than people are giving him any kind of credit for. And Next Gen Stats actually had a great stat about him when it comes to coverage. It said Frankie Lavu led all linebackers in both completion percentage allowed at 56.4% and completion percentage over expected at negative 19.4%, which is a lot. When targeted as the nearest defender last season, Washington allowed a league-high 0.61% and completion percentage over expected on targets across the middle of the field last season. That's awful. So he was first in completion percentage over expected. He was 5th overall in coverage success rate at 64.1 and receptions over expected at -7.6, which is 3rd in the league. I love it. This is music to my ears. We are actually putting respect on the linebacker position. And I know it's not 1990 anymore. You're going to see some different things. Like, this is a league where you only have 2 linebackers because you have an extra corner. You have an extra safety because it's such a pass-heavy league. But I think you're going to see a lot of really good things. I think if anyone's on the field the most, it's going to be Frankie Lavu because he can do everything. Now, let's talk about Bobby Wagner. So I gave Frankie an A. Shout out to, he just screams bloodline. Like, put the ones up, acknowledge Frankie Lavu. Great leader. I love hearing his huddles before games. I love his energy. I love what he brings to this team. Let's see. Marta Master 91 going through some chats here. Says Allen and Payne need to be on the field at the same time at all times. It's best if they move back to a 4-3. Like I said, you're going to see both. You're going to see some 3-4. You're going to see some 4-3. Our linebackers have been so terrible. We finally have some comp over the middle. Praise the Lord. Linebackers being bad in coverage is blown out of proportion, in my opinion. If you go back and watch what we had with Mayo and Barton last year, just the big plays. It was the third downs. Like, our third down defense was so bad. It popped on the screen. And I know the whole secondary was bad, but it wasn't pretty. Like, you have to upgrade from what we had, and I'm just glad that we finally are doing that. Ronald Smith says, Stith says, thank God we have linebackers, and I 100% agree. Let's talk about Bobby Wagner, because this is one that people have been going back and forth on. But obviously Bobby Wagner, All-Pro, reuniting with Dan Quinn, who was with him in Seattle, and of course Ken Norton Jr. And I'm excited about this because it is that veteran guy. And I think this helps Jamin Davis out a lot, but I think it helps Frankie Lavu out a lot too. Because like I said, Frankie Lavu's, once again, a younger guy, one of these ascending players. Now, what can you expect out of Bobby Wagner? Is he going to play every single snap? I don't know. That's the question. So that's why I'm waiting for some other pieces to fall so we can get a more, clear idea of what this defense is going to look like. But Bobby Wagner played 1,170 snaps last year. That's like 98, 99% of snaps, which is crazy. That's a lot. Now, is he the best in coverage? No. And I said this on my video last night. He's not the best in coverage. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's going to have like 4 interceptions and a bunch of pass breakups. But he had 130 solo tackles last year, which was second in the league. 50 assists, which was third. And he had 71 total stops, which is crazy. And he had a 91.5 run defense grade, which was second in the league. So like I said, you're going to have that front 4, 5, whatever on the D line, depending on what you do. Like I said, 4-3, 5-2, whatever. You're going to have those guys getting after the quarterback. Then you're going to have Frankie Lavu and Bobby Wagner cleaning it up in the back. I think you will see some rotations, like I said, with big nickel, big dime. I think Bobby Wagner is going to be on the field a lot. Do I think he's going to be like an every down guy? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's not a talent thing. It's a Dan Quinn scheme thing. Like, what does he have up his sleeve? What does he want to do with Jamin Davis? And a lot of people think Jamin Davis is just going to put his hand in the dirt and become Micah Parsons all of a sudden. It's not the case. I think he's going to be rushing the quarterback a lot more. I think he's going to be playing more freely. But you're not going to see a ton of like 3 linebacker looks. And we still don't know what's going to, happen with Jamin like after the season. Like, what's his future here? I don't know. I think the biggest question mark is on Jamin Davis now. I think Bobby Wagner plays a ton on the field. Don't get me wrong. I think Bobby Wagner is going to be on the field a ton. I think Frankie Lavu plays almost every single snap, though. If you're asking me, rushing the quarterback, he's great. Stopping the run, he's phenomenal. Coverage, Frankie Lavu's that guy. So I'm super excited about Frankie. I'm really excited about Bobby Wagner, what he's going to bring here when it comes to that veteran leadership, that experience. But it's not like the old washed up. I know he's like 33, but I'm talking like years past, we've had guys here. It's like there's no gas in the tank. Bobby Wagner has plenty of gas in the tank. He's like a diesel truck. So this helps out a lot. Maybe Jamin does have a future here. And I think a guy like Bobby Wagner really helps him out a lot. And then I think this is a great move for Frankie Lavu too. Can Bobby Wagner be good enough in coverage? I don't think it matters. Like I said, with the different packages you're going to do and what he can do and, stopping the run. And those sure tackles, just making sure big plays don't happen. I love this. If this doesn't excite you, like you need to go check into the hospital and get your heart rate checked. Because, like, this is such an upgrade over what we've had, like I said, with Cody Barton and David Mayo to Frankie Lavu, who was the number 1 linebacker in free agency, and Bobby Wagner. And even if he's here for a year, who cares? I think we still draft a guy in, like, the 4th, 5th round, like a Cedric Gray, because we still have 3 linebackers on the roster. We just signed 2. We only have 3 on the roster. Do they move Jeremy Chin into, like, kind of a linebacker role? To be continued. To be continued. Still got a lot going on. But like I said, my overall grade, now that we've gone through each individuals, I'm giving us an A. People are like, oh my gosh, here we go. Optimistic Josh. I'm telling you why, and this is why. I'm giving them an A because you do have some good veteran pieces that are coming here on really cost-efficient incentive deals. So one, they're going to want to play really good. The guys like Austin Eckler. Guys like Marcus Mariota is only making $6 million a year. Like I said, it's pretty hefty, but he's a backup. You kind of have to pay him. But there is incentives where if he does have to play, it's up to $10 million. But then, like I said, with Bobby Wagner, it's a 1-year deal worth up to $8.5 million, $6 million guaranteed. That's great. Another kind of incentive-based deal for Bobby Wagner, worth up to 8.5. That's phenomenal. But then you have these young guys. And this is what really excites me the most. Like I said, guys like Tyler Biadasz, guys like Dorrance Armstrong, Jeremy Chin, Frankie Lavu. People who are they're hungry. They're starving for more snaps. They're starving for more of a role. Frankie Lavu is going to become a captain on this team. Dorrance Armstrong is going to become a starting D-end on this team. And Tyler Biadasz is going to become a starting center for the Washington Commanders. This is exciting. These first-year deals are so cost friendly. Washington still has like 65 mil or so and change left in salary cap after signing what, 12, 13 guys, whatever it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, counting Dante Fowler. That's phenomenal. We still have plenty of moves we can make. I don't think we're done on the offensive line. We are active behind the scenes in the corner market. Trust me when I say this. Like I said, I dropped a little nugget for y'all on X yesterday about a potential big-time trade that could happen. I don't think they're out of the L'Jarius Sneed sweepstakes. I don't know if Fuller comes back. I'm leaning more towards no, and I'm more towards leaning Cam Curl not coming back as well. D. Pierce 6 says defense going top 10 again. Absolutely. And we haven't even drafted anybody yet. Like, I'm excited. Over under on wins this year, I'm not ready to get to that yet. I know I'm super excited, but I still have to draft. Then I'll start giving out those predictions. How much cap do we say have left? So like I just said, it looked like this morning we still have like 63 to 65 mil in salary left. Ideally, I'd say roughly 12 to 15 of that goes towards your draft picks. So maybe you have about 50 or so spending left. So it's good. You still have a good amount. But that's what I'm saying. Like with these deals, like the first 4 signings we did only took up like $12 million. Like the Ertz, Eckler, I think Armstrong, and there was like someone else. It was only like 12 mil the first year, which is great. A lot of these deals in these 3-year deals that I really like, it's like first year, second deal, really cost affordable. If things aren't going well, or you just need to go a different direction after that second year, you have an out for that third year. So I'm optimistic about it, guys. I appreciate y'all coming down on the stream and joining in the chat. Things have been crazy. We had a lot of people on here, but it's a great time to be excited, and you can be optimistic, guys. We have a new owner, new GM, new coaching staff, and I told y'all before for agency, just expect an overhaul on the roster. They had to come in, clean out the mess, start building your foundational pieces with some of these depth guys like Colin Farrell, Dante Fowler, having veteran guys that can plug and play in here, like Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner. Having those guys is key. But then these young guys who could potentially be long-term pieces that will start and make an impact right away, like Tyler Biadasz, like Dorrance Armstrong, like Jeremy Chin, like Frankie Lavu. I am so excited for this signing. I love this free agency period, and we're not done yet. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be doing more stuff. Like I said, follow me on X at Josh Taylor FB for the latest. I'll be talking the latest rumors, the latest, some predictions of mine as well. So stay tuned and subscribe to my YouTube channel, JTFB, or at Josh Taylor FB as well, where I'll be doing more videos, and I'll be back here on Bleacher Report bringing y'all more news for the Washington Commanders. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.